Alright YouTube, what's up everybody? Hopefully you can hear me over these heaters. It's a little cold out here, but today I've got to replace the radiator on this 2013 Kenworth T880. I've got the ISX15 Cummins in it, and after a little research, they say you gotta pull like the whole assembly, the whole front core support out, replace it all together, just pull it out, rebuild it on the ground, drop it back in. But I'm by myself, so I'm not gonna be able to do that. I'm not taking the hood off, so we're gonna see what we get. All right, so I went ahead and got a jump start on this. I got the coolant drained out of it. It took about 13 gallons, I believe I got drained out. But I'm trying to kind of figure out what I wanna do right now. So I'm kind of at a standstill. I watched a video where a guy tried to pull this out. The way they engineered it was pretty stupid, because essentially the way this casing is, you should be able to just pull this up, but you cannot. There's like welded nuts on the inside that won't allow you to do that. So I'm gonna have to pull the whole bracketry apart, or I just pull the whole casing up, which is exactly how I think PACCAR wants you to do it. But so what I've done so far is I've pulled off my coolant reservoir, which I've got back there, and then the front part of this fan shroud here so I could get inside. I got the coolant hoses off. I got to pull the bottom hose down here, and then I'm getting ready to pull the top hose off. Essentially, to get this out, you have these pins that hold the radiator in, and you should be able to, one would think, just slide that straight up out of there, but because of all the bolts and stuff that come in down here, it's too tight and it won't let you do that. So where I'm at right now is, do I want to try to keep messing with taking all this stuff off, jeopardize braking stuff? And the biggest standstill is my hydraulic power steering cooler over here. I can't get a Torx in due to the hood bracket. So I think what we're gonna do is just cable that off and yank the whole support. From the driver's side, I went ahead and capped off my hydraulic lines going up to that power steering cooler. The AC condenser on the front side here, I think I can roll it off to the side, and then I can just take the two big bolts that hold the bracket at the bottom, and I think I can use our forklift and just bring this straight up over top of the hood. But I'm not exactly sure how that's. All right, so here's the update, everybody. I know I'm not really doing this step by step. I kind of forgot my mount for my phone at home, so I'm just kind of showing you how I'm going about it. Hopefully I'm explaining this, so if you're doing it yourself. But I was able to roll the AC condenser here around. I got the bolts at the bottom. Again, I'm just pulling this thing out of here, even though I'm by myself, using the old forklift here. And then I can disassemble this entire casing when it's on the floor. You got to take the brackets off. In case you didn't realize, this shroud is not actually connected to this one. So even though I took all the bolts out of this I probably could have left that bolted up and it would have just slid right past it. So I'm kind of pissed about that. I'm not a heavy diesel mechanic. I mean, I guess I kind of am today. When you work on a farm, I guess you're just kind of everything. So if you got a forklift, crane, hoist, I mean, I guess I probably could have used the crane on the service truck, but I'm gonna get this thing out of here, tear this thing apart, try to keep showing you some clips, and hopefully this truck will be done tonight and I don't have to come back out here tomorrow and waste all my weekend putting this together. But I did notice that I've got a brake shoe on the front that looks like it's broken or dragging, so I need new front brakes, but might just send it down the road for a few more miles. So quick update, and I'll keep putting this together. I got the housing. You have to take both sides, I guess, off, and the top bracket to be able to get that out, because the welded nuts on the inside do catch. So you have to completely disassemble it to pull the old radiator out and then put the new one in. So I got the new one in, and now I'm working on putting the two coolers back on the front, and then I can put the whole core unit back in the front of the truck. I do, however, have this old unit out. It is right here. I don't know exactly where it was leaking from, but this is an old radiator. I'm guessing this is the original truck radiator from 2013. So it's about time. I think the wet spot there that appears to be where it might have been leaking is from where one of the hoses drained down on it when I pulled it apart from the top. So, yep, we just got to get this put back together. I'm going through and putting anti-seize on all of the bolts as I put them back in. Trust me, if you plan on keeping your truck for a while, and the way that these bolts take on elements, I had one bolt break off, didn't worry about it because it's for the plastic shroud. But yeah, anti-seize everything when you put it back together. Future you will thank you. All right, y'all, well, I lost that heater, so we ran out of fuel there. Still got one running, but it's like almost midnight, and I got it in, okay? So I got everything set in. Like I said, been really bad about showing you guys how this all went, but I'm hoping if you're doing a radiator and you need some advice, this should be able to help you through it. Putting it back in wasn't too hard. I had a few extra hands there for about 5 minutes to help me line everything up, and I just started bolting stuff back. While everything was out, as you've seen, I had everything bolted together. All I had to do when it was back on was put the condenser in and then put all the brackets back in to get this shroud mounted back up. And then there's the brackets that are down below. I got the upper hose and the lower hose on. I just gotta put the charge pipes back on, and I have to put the bumper. And then I did have to take the torch because there's 2 small holes for like a mesh screen that goes in here. So I had to actually try to blow this one out with the torch because it broke off. Kind of ugly, but with the clearance from the hood and the clearance there, and then it's like a tube underneath, so there was no way for me to drill it. So that was really the only thing I could do. All in all, this hasn't been too bad. Wouldn't advise doing it if you didn't have to. This hasn't been a fun project by any means, but I'm gonna get this wrapped up tonight because again, I don't really want to work on it tomorrow. I need to go through this truck anyways, so I'll probably service it, clean it this weekend, and get hooked back up to a trailer so we can haul some grain on Monday. But hopefully I'll have all my coolant back in. Hopefully the truck runs with no leaks, and that's really all we can hope for. So hopefully I'll get a video, show you with it running, everything back together, but we're pretty much there. Just putting some clamps and some getting these charge pipes put back on, and we'll be wrapped up, clean up the tools, and get out of here. Well, she's all back together. Ran into some issues. So everything was together, started putting the fluid back in. Come to find out, there's this little metal line that right there on the corner decided to start just peeing fluid out everywhere. So found out that that goes to the heat exchanger. So from like up here to down here. So I got to see if I can find a line this weekend so I can have this back up. For reference, it goes from there down to there. So of course that's going to be a specialty line and nobody's going to have it, so we'll see what we can come up with. All right, so I forgot I didn't really finish this video, but truck is running. I've been hauling. The tube that flows the coolant from that like upper thermostat down to that heat exchanger, I could not get it all weekend. On Sunday I said screw it, I want the truck on Monday. So I went to the auto parts store, I got some brake line, and I went to Menards and I got some fittings because the way they made the fittings, you couldn't step up because it was from 1/4 to 5/16. So I just swapped out the fittings and I built the line myself. Let me show. So as you can see, I even made the curvature. It was kind of hard to bend it, but it's in there, it's running, it's not leaking, and we've been looking good. We've been going for a couple weeks. Again, if you've got to do a project like this, then hopefully this helps. If not, glad you stayed around to watch, and until I make another one.